If you're feeling overwhelmed, I hope that this video will help you to process that feeling. On this channel, through handmade projects, I hope to bring joy, but we also experience a whole range of other emotions, and some can be quite challenging. Today, we'll be using our calligraphy practice to help us process that feeling of overwhelm, which I think is something that many of us face from time to time. First, let's prepare our calligraphy supplies. You can use your brush pens, or if you're using inks, you can use them with your dip pens or brushes. For this session, I'll be using my brush with natural inks that I created myself. I love using natural inks because they help me to reconnect with nature, which is very healing. Natural inks are living inks. The colors change over time. They are fleeting and transient. I think it's such a great metaphor for our emotions because our emotions also evolve over time. Let's do a mindfulness exercise together so that it eases us to look within, because our emotions deserve to be seen and heard too. You will hear the sound of a chime, and I invite you to close your eyes. As the sound from the chime fades away, bring your attention to your breath. Breathe in and out at your own pace for 3 cycles. Sense your body rising and falling with your breath. And now for your next breath, let's try to make your exhalation longer. As you locate that feeling of overwhelm on your body, now think about the texture of your overwhelm. Is it jagged? Is it thick? Is it prickly? Does it have a vibration? Is it pulsing? Is it flat? Take some time to get to know this emotion of overwhelm that you have in your body. Does your emotion of overwhelm have a color? Is it dark? Is it light? Now feel the rush of air coming in and out of your nose. Relax your eyebrows. Release any tension in your jaw. Continue breathing in and out at your own pace. And in a while, you'll be hearing 3 tones from the chime. As the sound from the 3rd chime fades away, I invite you to open your eyes. I hope that was a relaxing exercise for you. And now let's get ready to create our calligraphy to process that emotion of overwhelm that we had. Make sure that you're comfortably seated and you have your supplies ready. Now remember that the intention for this calligraphy experiential is about processing that emotion of overwhelm and visualizing it. There is no right or wrong in how you choose to express that feeling of overwhelm. It's not about creating perfect, smooth strokes, so trust whatever comes out on the paper through you as you create your strokes. You can use your basic strokes, the ovals, the loops, the underturns, the overturns, upstrokes and downstrokes. It's about inviting curiosity, not judgment about what emerges from your paper. So are we ready? Let's pick up your pen, your brush or your dip pens and let it flow. Now we're going to create an image to reflect that feeling of overwhelm that you tuned into earlier. We are just becoming the watcher of our emotion of overwhelm. Invite curiosity. What color did you pick? What shapes do you use the most? Do you mostly use heavy pressure or light pressure on your brush? Now when you're finished doing your calligraphy to express that feeling of overwhelm, take a notebook and a pen. Now call your name and the emotion and ask it a question. Like this. For example, for me, Joy, you'd say, Joy's overwhelmed. What do you want to say to me? Write down everything that your feeling of overwhelm is trying to tell you on one side of your notebook. It could be statements like, there's not enough time, I just can't catch up, I'm drowning in commitments. And as you're writing down the statements, your feeling of overwhelm may rise again, but just watch the sensations. Remember that you're just an observer of your feeling of overwhelm. Once you've finished writing a few sentences that your overwhelm is trying to tell you, now take a deep breath, call your name again and the emotion, and express your gratitude towards it. Joy is overwhelmed. Thank you for sharing. I hear you and I see you. Now on the other side of your notebook, reach for an emotion that you want to feel. Is it calmness, confidence, feeling settled? Now write down some believable thoughts that can help to support that emotion that you're trying to reach. Such as, I don't have to do everything right now. Or, everything will happen at its own time. Or, I've gotten over this hurdle before and I can do it again. Just brainstorm statements that feel true to you, even if it's just a little bit, and it expands you and feels light. Look again at your new list of statements. What is one action you would take to promote that new feeling that you want? Is it asking for help? Is it prioritizing one thing for tomorrow? Is it taking a break? Now moving from the feeling of overwhelm to a new emotion with new thoughts is not going to be immediate. You might stay in this feeling of overwhelm for a short time or a long time. But just observe the emotion as it moves through your body over time. I'm right alongside you doing this calligraphy experiential session with you. Here's sharing my experience, and if you did this session too, please share with me how it went for you. I'll pick out a few key moments as I was doing this. The first was when I started off doing overturned strokes repeatedly. It was a stroke that I felt was so resonant when I was tapping into my own feeling of overwhelm and that feeling of humps and hurdles. As I looked again at the strokes across the page, I just realized that the overturns looked like question marks. So I dropped in the pink dots that turned the overturns into question marks. Then I tapped into that questioning mode, which contributed to that feeling of overwhelm and how it felt. It seems like there's a lot of going back and forth, a lot of unknowns. So I moved to create these looping strokes. But I got quite annoyed, though, at the cycling back and forth. So I decided to stop it and then move on to create decisive downstrokes towards the last third of the paper. I added in paler inks to more vivid inks to remind myself that it's okay to feel unsure when you're making decisions, to get myself out of overwhelm. And as I looked at the downstrokes, even though the strokes are lettered in an up to down direction, my eyes now look at them from bottom left to upper right, and it gave me a feeling of uplift, coupled also with the different colors that I used. So from that feeling of uplift that the image gave me, it helped me to move into a space of finding statements and thoughts that felt supportive to get me out of staying in that cycle of overwhelm. Some of those statements, like, I don't have to do everything right now, I shared with you earlier. I hope that you found a new way for your calligraphy practice to serve your inner self. If you found this video helpful, do like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more calligraphy experiential just like this one. If you did this experiential activity, I'd love to hear about your experience and see what you created. Take care, be well, and I'll talk with you soon.